Well, the David Wilcock story just got that much more crazy and insane as a lot of people are talking about how he was describing a pole shift and time travel, which some people believe is more relevant than ever. Is it? Some people think that, as of course people are still trying to decipher and trying to understand what actually happened here. We're going to go over a lot of that, as of course there's a lot of clips now going viral of a very intriguing, interesting person that sadly no longer here is with us. I was just with Mickey Willis yesterday. He had an interesting statement about all of this. The family released a statement. There's evidence to suggest that there are multiple kind of possibilities here, but I wanted to kind of focus more on some of the other work that David released before. If you appreciate that, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us. Now, this clip right here is now going viral of David Wilcock saying this.
They have a whole server farm of computers just to deconstruct the two images and be able to see what they're looking at in the future. So again, this is what they're using. This is one of the main ones they're using, the Orion Cube as they call it, or the Cube. And also it's being used with Looking Glass.
Was there time travel? As some people are even extrapolating and trying to connect David Wilcock to what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Lots of different theories out there. It doesn't mean we always have to take them seriously, but there are circumstantial things that are kind of very interesting, especially with the White House announcing that they have technology that could warp time and space. Now, some people believe that that is just kind of posturing, saber-rattling, especially when it comes to trying to intimidate some of the countries that we are in either a proxy war with or an actual war with. Now, it's not just David that kind of passed on. There's a lot of people passing away in the scientific community, specifically a lot of people talking about UFOs, aliens, and advanced technology. This is where things just get a little bit more stranger.
My mind is blown. It is not just David Wilcock that has just passed away, but other experts and colleagues in his field have also passed away. And they were all associated or featured in the show Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. And now it's caused plasma physicist John Brandenburger. He posted this AI image and this message that says, "Dear friends, I have been told I am in danger as an anti-gravity and Mars investigator. But I tell you now that all humanity is now in danger."
Now, there's been a lot of statements from Alex Jones, from me, a lot of other people. I'm not even that important, but I'll just put it out there. I have no will to self-harm in any way, shape, or form. I love life to the fullest extent, right? As of course, all these scientists kind of like passing away. Now, again, not all of them are highlighting the proven, absolute conspiracy. Some of them are just natural occurrences. They do happen. But when they happen in one particular group in the field, when they happen, it's a little weird. Now, granted, some people are taking people who passed away all the way back in 2022. It's very difficult to get a full type of understanding of this since there are a lot of secrets and classifications and projects and organizations that, of course, we're just not privy to that information, and we have to extrapolate and guess here. So there are other people that passed away in 2020, but those were the same people literally texting people that they don't want to self-harm and self-exit. And then they self-harmed and self-exited. Huh?
But so are the cover-up helpers. I urge a blanket amnesty for all in the cover-up who end it. Take this amnesty while you still can. Now, this is considered a conspiracy theory. It is what Dr. John Brandenburger is alleging. But we also have a scientist who was working on anti-gravity. Anti-gravity, isn't that what Amy Eskridge, one of the scientists who allegedly took her own life, was working on? You remember Amy, she's one of the scientists who have mysteriously disappeared or passed away. Yes, she was working on anti-gravity. And if you watch the videos I've posted of her, she was claiming that she was about to allegedly expose it to the public via her Institute of Exotic Science in Huntsville. So if Dr. John Brandenburger has also been researching—
That's the 2020 case, I believe.
—anti-gravity and Mars, I think it's legitimate for him to feel scared.
Now, some people are saying anti-gravity because there's a theory out there that's being shared around by some people that are saying that the Earth is about to lose its gravity. That would be kind of wild and crazy. There's a lot of wild and kind of crazy theories out there. Another theory that's going around is that there's going to be a potential pole shift. And there are archaeologists and a lot of scientists that have theoretically talked about the possibility of major pole shifts that would describe the Great Flood like we have in the Bible, which kind of makes sense, especially when you get deeper down the rabbit hole with Atlantis and a bunch of other stuff.
The rabbit hole took me down to this. All these men are linked to the show Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, and they have all allegedly passed away. And you guys know that I have to say allegedly, right? And I have to say that this could all be a conspiracy theory. It is all alleged. Ton of other professional...
Jordan Maxwell was a G, but Jordan Maxwell passed away naturally, right? Just because someone passes away doesn't mean it's a conspiracy.
And colleagues from the show, including Nick Pope and Eric Von Daniken.
Now, again, this has definitely set up a chilling effect. Mickey Willis, I just saw him yesterday at the Bitcoin conference. He says, I've known David Wilcock for 20 years. His death is suspicious and must be fully investigated. That said, from what I've gathered so far, all evidence points towards him taking his own existence. The question is, what led David to this point? Was he being targeted by certain weapons known for inducing cognitive breakdown? And then he gives all the details here about who he was, the details. The police department have been very detailed here in their response here. And then we also have, of course, a statement from their family. And then we also have David Wilcock saying in 2022 he would never self-harm, but then also talking about threats from the Rothschilds, but then also showing a little bit of mania, right, as well, and not the best of mental health. Now, before getting into the pole shift theory, which I think is interesting, we wanted to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, and that, of course, is getintogoldnow.com. Let me ask you something. You spend 30 years working, saving, building your retirement, and then 2 years before you plan to retire, markets take a major hit. Just like that, decades of work suddenly depends on forces completely outside of your control. Now look at what's happening in the world right now. Escalating tensions with Iran, instability in the Middle East, oil markets reacting, the financial markets moving on every geopolitical headline. These events don't just affect politics, they affect the financial system your retirement is tied to. Most Americans have their entire retirements sittings in paper assets, stocks, funds, accounts tied directly to the market and the dollar system. And here's something most people are never told. You can legally hold physical gold inside a tax-advantaged IRA or 401k. It's been in the tax code for decades. When I started looking into how people protect their retirement from market shocks, that's how I came across Augustus Precious Metals. Their education team walks you through exactly how this works, step by step, so you can understand whether moving a portion of your retirement into physical gold actually makes sense for you. If you've spent decades building your retirement, it's worth at least understanding the options. Go to getintogoldnow.com or text Luke to 35052 to get Augustus' free information guide, and they will connect you with one of their educators. They'll answer your questions and walk you through how a gold IRA works, because after 30 years of building something, you probably don't want it depending entirely on one market cycle. We want to thank them for working with us, sponsoring this video. Go check them out, and it doesn't hurt to hear them out. They're really interesting, and we greatly appreciate them working with us. Now, before getting into the bullshit, I saw a lot of videos. I kind of don't want to play them. I feel even bad showing them. I don't like to talk bad about people who are no longer here with us, no matter who they are. Right? I think there has to be an element of respect for kind of human life. But it needs to be said, I've seen a lot of videos where the best of mental health isn't kind of attributed here. Now, a lot of people are saying, no way. And listen, I know people that knew David, and some people are saying, absolutely no way he hurt himself. Other people are saying it makes sense, right? So take that with a grain of salt. He previously came out and was talking about the threats that were going up against them, allegedly from the Rothschilds.
They're as serious as a heart attack. And if it wasn't for these universal laws, they would have taken me out.
I think they would have.
They've tried and tried and tried. I have been given death threats directly from the Rothschilds 3 different times. They have actually had somebody that they could talk to.
Straw parties.
It's from them, through this person, to me, 3 times. Direct death threats from the Rothschilds. Shut up or we're going to take you out. And I'm still doing it.
You're still doing it.
Because...
Now, granted, a lot of people in the media space now receive threats, right? I've received my threats. Everyone received kind of threats here. But I think we're reaching into a new type of way of life, right? Where everything seems to be kind of quickening. Everything seems to be kind of rushed. Everything seems kind of abnormal. Everything seems kind of very stressed, right? As people are starting to question a lot of things very seriously. And it seems like we're either going to go through one of the biggest kind of unravelings, right? One of the biggest kind of disclosures very soon. I had my kind of predictions of 2026 of alien disclosures. Or we're about to regress and become a total slave society of a technocratic group of sociopathic robots that want to enslave us and use us as batteries and slaves for them. Either way, right? So, again, I think this is from 2022, and this is when he came out, said that he would never kind of self-harm himself. But then he did show kind of erratic stuff. And then his family's statement and other people's statement, it could go either way here. Now, not just kind of theorizing on that, because we could theorize about that all day, but Alex Jones came out and talked about how a lot of these scientists that are going missing are directly linked to alleged programs that are working on trying to either understand or trying to do something about a magnetic pole shift. Now, the poles move and they kind of naturally aren't in one particular place here. A lot of people are saying that there's been a lot of pole activity and that there's a big chance that the poles shift. When the poles shift, there's going to be massive flooding, massive amounts of human beings that lose their kind of life through major ecological and environmental changes.
Do I believe all the anti-gravity and plasma scientists were knocked off so that this story that you and I are talking about stays hidden for as long as possible? Why? Because I believe the elites are worried about 8 billion people completely wiping the planet of them.
Now, if it's a pole shift, what if scientists are working on making sure a pole shift happens? So there could be a eugenics operation that doesn't need to be messy or hard, or because it takes a lot of work to take out, 8 billion people. It's a lot of work. It's like, gosh, what are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do with all this? I think there was a pole shift a couple thousand years ago. Can we make that happen now? Let's get in our bunkers there. Although elites are buying up bunkers everywhere, especially in New Zealand and in places like Chile, which is interesting.
Why? Because the real issue here goes to exactly what it was in COVID. Does humanity need to know if humanity is at risk by having informed consent from their own government? My opinion is yes. And I do agree with what you just said, that I think if we collectively put the mind hive together, could we come up with solutions for this problem? It doesn't mean that it's a full-on sixth extinction. It could turn out to be a Last Chapman event or, a Mayan wipeout.
Is it a Mayan wipeout that we're facing? Again, who the hell knows, really?
Make it worse, which I guess is get rid of most people or dumb us down so that we're more manageable. I'm not endorsing that, but I can see the thought process and that line of reasoning. I think if you just told everybody and mobilized everybody and got off of this divide and conquer crap, there's all sorts of stuff we could probably try to do to counter it or innovate out of it. Humans can do anything basically at this point with the technology we have, or maybe I'm wrong. I mean, what would you do if you were the establishment, Dr. Cruz? And then in closing, what do you make of all these scientists in China, Europe here, they're involved in gravity manipulation and UFO stuff, all being murdered, killed? I think it's pretty much a message. Or were they selling secrets, or who do you think's killing them?
Now, there's multiple theories about what's happening to a lot of these scientists. One, coincidence, people just pass away, people have accidents, it happens. That's one theory. Second theory is government's taking them out because they're about to disclose or leak something to the general public that would be shocking that the government doesn't want leaked. 3, foreign governments are coming in and they're like, okay, you're working on propulsion type of technology, anti-gravity type of tech. We could use that. Oh, hi, I'm your local China man or Russia man. Hi. We're taking you now. All right. Those are the 3 theories. Which one do you think is true? Let me know down in the comment section below.
That's 2 big final questions.
All right, so let's start with the last one first. Do I believe all the anti-gravity and plasma scientists were knocked off so that this story that you and I are talking about stays hidden for as long as possible? Why? Because I believe the elites are worried about 8 billion people completely wiping the planet of them. Why? Because the real issue here goes to exactly what it was in COVID. Does humanity need to know if humanity is at risk by having informed consent from their own government? My opinion is yes. And I do agree with what you just said, that I think if we collectively put the mind hive together, could we come up with solutions for this problem? It doesn't mean that it's a full-on sixth extinction. It could turn out to be a last chapter event or, a Mayan wipeout. I think those things need to be studied.
It could also trigger a new renaissance.
Well, I believe you're right. That's actually what it showed at the Cambrian explosion. If you really think about it, when the Earth defragged itself, we went from, prokaryotes and archaea to eukaryotes. We're here talking about that right now as that renaissance. And I would say that I think people need to become a little bit more facile with the science. And I want people to understand it's not that hard to learn about these effects. Just know that you are built around light hydrogen. Deuterium is a real problem. One of the things you can do is you can get involved and get yourself deuterium depleted water. You can buy this stuff now on Amazon. It's expensive. There's no question about it.
Now, I don't know if that's something that I would get behind, I think we still don't know what's really going on here. Okay. Now, a lot of people are sharing this clip of David Wilcock talking about the pole shift. And I think the pole shift conversation is a very interesting one, right? But this is what he had to say about it.
The Iraq War had, to a large degree, the mission of capturing a looking glass technology that was dug up in Sumer, which was
That's an ancient civilization.
originally in the possession of Gaddafi in Libya, which is why they attacked Libya. Gaddafi got rid of it and gave it to Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was using this technology, viewing the future. The U.S. government went in after him because they felt that the fate of the world was at stake, because if they did not capture this technology and get it back and deconstruct it, that the Earth would have a pole shift.
Now, is this the same technology that Trump is bragging about, bending time and space with the White House official statement? Or advanced tech that we can't even fathom or imagine? I mean, the U.S. government has been coming out and saying some wild stuff. They're like, oh yeah, we could find out someone's unique heartbeat anywhere in the world with our machines now. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we have microwave weapons. We don't even need to shoot people. We just... And it's like, nosebleed. Ah! It's like, oh, you have that? They had heart attack guns all the way back in the 1970s. They just... and that guy had a heart attack. Oh, look at that. Oh. Now, do they have other stuff that makes people go crazy? Makes them lose their mind? Or makes them become more manic? Combined with a lot of other pressures that they artificially push? Yeah. Are they using it? And some of these people warning about this stuff? We don't know. We don't have proof of that. But it's a theory that I think is at least worth entertaining now.
But when you actually decipher these letters, it means the doctrine of the convergent timeline paradox. Here's the problem. You look through time with this device, and when you hit 2012, everything goes perfectly white. As you get closer and closer to 2012, starting in around 1980, a very strange thing has been happening when they use the looking glass. There is an interlacing of images. So right now, imagine that if I had this slide on half the time, and then the other half of the time, there was an image of like a face. And if I interlace them slowly, then maybe every second it goes from here to the face to here to the face. Then as it speeds up, it gets faster and faster to the point that if it were complex images, you couldn't make out one from the other because they're flip-flopping so fast, okay? That's called interlacing, and the frequency of the interlacing gets higher and higher as you go towards 2012. So anytime that they try to look at or they used to try to look because they're not using them anymore, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, bam. It's so interlaced that they have a whole server farm of computers just to deconstruct the two images and be able to see what they're looking at in the future.
A server farm, like an AI data center? Now, this is where the theories get interesting, Because with artificial intelligence becoming as intelligent and as smart as it is, smarter than human beings, you get to predict the future. You get to see the future, right? Especially when you're able to see all the trends, especially when you're able to get all these data sets, especially when you have these huge data centers that have all the information on everything and everybody, doing things in real time with their little block cubed devices, right? Then it gets interesting because a lot of people talk about how AI isn't only going to, replace people's jobs, but it's going to replace humans. Now, if you're building and creating an AI and you could see the future, right? Who says that with the technological advancements, with the science, that they can't bend time and space? And then time travel. That's a theory that some people are using to explain the UAPs and the UAP sightings that are happening, a kind of blending in of this kind of energetic field that all of us are in and encompassing right now, that is kind of blending in right now with the different type of frequencies that are all kind of like combining together.
Sure. So again, this is what they're using. This is one of the main ones they're using, the Orion Cube as they call it, or the cube. And also it's being used with Looking Glass. But what's going on with 2012? Well, here's another very interesting thing. We have multiple parallel futures that we can choose. And 2012 literally does represent create your own reality time. It has everything to do with what do you expect is going to happen. This is where thoughts becoming reality really takes on a whole new meaning in a way that you've never heard of before.
Huh. Now, what is the actual reality of all of this? What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. We got very theoretical. If you like these videos, let me know. I appreciate you guys talking to me. Overall, it's kind of sad that David is no longer here with us. I thought he presented some interesting things that were at least worth contemplating. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you to our sponsor, GetIntoGoldNow.com. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.